to my YouTube channel. My name is Zee, so for all of those who are new here, or you can call me Sunshine Zee as is the channel name. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you as always, and I really do hope that you are doing well. Let me know how you're doing. Engage with me, comment and like and share this video. And if you are new and you've just come across this content and you enjoy it, please do consider subscribing. It's the red button at the bottom and it's absolutely free. You don't pay anything, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. So let's get into today's video. So just in the interest of full disclosure, your girl is go-wishing, like she is within them go, okay? And I thought to myself, actually, I said to myself, but how do you want to do a video like this? Because I feel like it's like a bit on the motivational side, yet you yourself are not in your, like I'm not in a great space. It's not that I'm in a bad space, but I'm not in a great space. But I thought actually that's actually I thought to myself, but it's probably the best time to do this, because I feel that we need to be authentic in our journeys. And what I'm going to talk about today is something that I feel that there's an element of this. So we talk about this a lot, but there's an element that we don't necessarily mention or we don't focus on. Okay, at least in my experience, okay? And the title of today's video, as you would have seen, is if you want different, do different, okay? And basically I'm talking about how to reach your goals, right? So perhaps at the beginning of the year, beginning of the month, beginning of the week, or in the middle of the week, really whenever, you come to a place in your life, a lot of us go through this, you come to a place where you say, okay, enough is enough. I want to change this, right? Whether it be, the most common one would probably be, I want to lose weight, or I want to live a healthier life, or I want to develop myself, I want to make better decisions, I want to do better with my finances, right? I feel that, okay, so the order, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes so that I don't go off track, because I tend to do that. Okay, so the order that we normally tackle goals is that I hope you do this, write them down. And on this channel, we talk a lot about how we need to write things down. So we write that goal down. But don't just write the goal down. Please just break it up to say, okay, this is the goal. I want to live healthier. What does that even mean? Break that goal down, make sure that it's also measurable, it's realistic, like the whole SMART principle. I'll put it up here somewhere just in case somebody doesn't know what that is, but make sure that you have broken the goal down into something that you can track the goal. And then secondly, we need to visualize the goal. And some people prefer things such as vision boards, or like, I don't know, envisioning, sitting and envisioning. And it's very important that you are able to actually see this goal. You see yourself actually attaining this goal. It's no point having a goal but you can't actually see yourself in that car, or you can't see yourself out of date. Whatever the goal is, you need to actually see yourself at that point, and that's what visualizing is about. And then, and this is the number 3 step, and this is the step that I feel that we don't talk about a lot, is that you need to work on it daily, right? So it's not just something where you say, I'm going to change this and that's it. No, like I said, you decide to change something, you write it down. I know some people don't necessarily believe in writing things down, but I really am a big believer in writing things down. You write it down, you make sure that it's something that's realistic, it's measurable, it's specific, all of that, right? Secondly, you visualize it. So you envision how the end result is going to look like. You envision how your bank account is going to be looking like, after you've saved the money, or you envision yourself out of debt, things like that, right? Or you envision yourself in that, in that body, in that banging body, right? But the number 3 thing is how you work on it every day. And I think this is the part that I feel we don't really focus on. Because here's the reality. If you want to be a different person, not human being, if you want to be different, and if you want to grow, and if you want to elevate or level up, whatever it is, you are going to have to work on it every single day, as much as you possibly can. So it's not just about waking up the one day and taking a walk around the neighborhood. No, you're gonna have to wake up the following day, and the day after that, and the day after that. And that's what I think we don't really talk about, because as much as that sounds like, yeah, well, Z, what did you expect? Of course you're gonna have to work on it daily. But I feel like, so I read somewhere that February is the month where most people fall off the wagon in terms of their beginning of the year goals and resolutions, right? So February is that month where people stop going to the gym, and they stop doing all the things that they said that they would be doing, right? And I think it's because of this third part, which is that people don't realize that it's something that you're going to have to work on, not just in January, but in February as well, in March as well, in April as well. You need to just keep working on it every single day. And that's what gets difficult. Because it's it's nice to set a goal and say, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it every single day. And that's why the realistic part of the SMART goals is really important. It really needs to be realistic. So you can't just start and say, I'm gonna work out 7 days a week. No, you need to just try and ease slowly into it, right? But what I actually wanted to touch on in today's video is that there are days where you will not feel like it. And that's just the reality of it. There are days that you just will not feel like it. And I think that's why February is that month where people give up, because you might feel pumped up in January because it's still, or whatever, whether it's a New Year's resolution or whatever. But the first couple of days, I would think of it as sort of like a honeymoon phase, where you are going for that jog, or you are grabbing the lettuce, instead of the chips, where you are passing by McDonald's or your favorite burger joint or whatever, right? And you're just doing it, and you're like feeling so good about yourself. But what about the day that things didn't go well at work? Right? I'm just remembering my friend and I used to do this thing where if we had a hard day at work, we would buy a slice of cake, and we would justify it and say, we deserve this, we've been through a lot. And that's what I'm talking about, that we would have goals of losing weight. In most cases, we would have these goals. But the minute we don't feel like it, the minute, something goes off, or somebody, does something off, then you stop making that decision. Why? Because you don't feel like it. It doesn't feel right anymore. And the thing is, you must remember that whenever things happen, when life comes at you, and life will come at you, right? Things will happen. You still need to make that decision to go for that walk, or to grab a healthier snack. And how do you do that? How do you do that? And I think, first of all, you need to realize that feelings are not loyal. So don't go according to your feelings. Don't listen to your feelings, because you could feel like, oh, today I don't want to go for my exercise, right? And you feel the way you feel, and you decide to sleep, or you decide to do whatever else. Later on in the day, or maybe you're about to go to bed, you realize, what, I actually could have done it. Do you see how feelings are not so loyal? So try not to, and I'm saying this, and I know it's difficult sometimes, try not to go according to your feelings. Why? Because your feelings are used to that comfort zone. Your feelings, will want to go back to a default setting, especially if that default setting is something that sort of gives you comfort. For example, with the food, right? As I mentioned with the cake for us was something that gave us comfort. Until today I still struggle with sugary things. When I'm going through something, I really, really crave something nice and sugary. Why? Because it makes me feel better, it makes me feel good. And in order to break that habit, and replace it with a new one, I can't keep going back to that habit. I need to constantly choose differently. And that's why I'm saying you need to do differently. So now I have a situation, let's say now somebody wrote an email at work or whatever the case might be, and my default settings is to go to the slice of cake because it makes me feel better. I need to, at that moment, I've already made the decision, remember, like some time ago, and it went well, but now here comes the situation. What do? I need to then at that moment decide to do differently. So instead of going for the cake, I need to say, listen, that's not what I'm going to do. Even though it feels like, I really, really need it. And there's the thing, I feel like some of us fail to actually foresee that. And perhaps that's why I wanted to share it with somebody. Sometimes we fail to foresee that there will be things that come along. Personally, I think that's what happened to me, is that, some of my goals, I failed to foresee. And you can't always foresee that things would happen and they would disturb my routine, because like I said, when you get into a routine, things are going well, you're doing what you need to be doing, you're exercising, whatever it is, you're saving money or you're paying your debts, but something comes unexpectedly, and most times you would not have planned for that thing. So number one, I would say, please try and plan for if things don't go according to plan. If something breaks the routine, what then? Right? Because at that point, that's the vital point where you need to choose differently. You won't always get it right. Don't be hard on yourself. You will not always get it right, but you need to at least try and get it right. So if they're saying that in February people are quitting, you need to say to yourself, you know what, let me try and get through February. Let me try and get through March. Another good example is that a couple of weeks ago I had a video about how I want to read more this year. Now it's a noble thing. It sounds good. You want to read more, and how many books do you want to read? No, at least 2 books a month, at least a couple of pages a day. And for the first couple of weeks, it went very well. It went very, very well. Like an hour a day. I call it reading hour. An hour a day. I'll take some time out, put my phone away and read. Come February, it's a lot tougher, right? But I still need to make the decision. So some days I've missed, some days I have read, but some days I've missed, and that's just the honest truth, and that's the reality of when you're trying to make changes in your life, is that the old you will keep pulling you back. You will keep going back to your default, to what's comfortable, to what you are used to, but you need to try and overcome that by choosing differently consistently. All right. And I just, the whole point of this was just to try and say that, what, life does happen. There's a lot of things that can come at you that you didn't anticipate. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. Say for example you're trying to save up and then the geyser bursts, or something, something in the house needs to be fixed, or your appliance stops working and it's the only appliance that you have. Now you have to go and buy a microwave oven, and where you're gonna get that money? You take from your savings. So those things will happen. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just try and try and plan, you know, for the unknowns that might happen, but at the same time try and do differently. So if in the example that I used with the savings, if you've now managed to save 5,000 rands and now you have to take 1,000 rands out for the microwave oven to replace the microwave oven, do that, right? But don't just be like, okay, don't withdraw 3,000 rands, because you don't need 3,000 rands. You know, don't withdraw 3,000 rands and now go and do some shopping. Especially baby shopping is your weak point, you know. And like I said, you were trying, your goal is to try and save money. So now don't go and withdraw 3,000 rands and get the microwave with 1,000 rands and then start getting other things that you didn't actually plan on with the rest of the money. And then, you know, some of us do this, and then you say, you know what, seeing as that kejile, you know, that type of an attitude, seeing as that I've already spent this money, I might as well just spend the rest of the money and not even bother. No, don't do that. Or maybe you didn't take your jog for a whole week or even a month. It's never too late to get back into it. As long as you're still alive, I believe that you need to still strive towards those goals. Don't give up and say, well, I've you know, I've failed so much that, you know, we'll try again next month or next year. No, as the minute you realize that, you know what, I've failed, and failure is not a bad thing, but you know, I've had a mishap, or you know, I didn't manage to do what I said I'm going to do. It does not mean that you shouldn't make different decisions tomorrow. So today perhaps you made all the wrong decisions, you've had that slice of cake, you've made the wrong decisions. Tomorrow is still another chance. If you're alive again tomorrow, it's still another chance for you to make that different choice, until that choice sticks, until that habit, you know, is part of you. It's now formed. It's now your default settings. As I spoke earlier about default settings, now this new habit is your default settings. Until such a time, keep making that different decision, and you'll see, slowly but surely, I believe that you will see the changes, and celebrate the small wins, you know. So if you are able to do it for a month, whatever it is that you decided to do, a new habit that you decided to implement, you know, be proud of that, celebrate that, you know, give yourself that little bit of, you know, Z, I'm so proud of you. You're doing so well. You know, speak to yourself positively. And then maybe you go a bit off track. That's fine. It's human. But make sure that you come back on track again. I do hope that you found today's video informative or just a little bit motivational. As I said, I myself am kind of going through this, but I said to myself, you know what? Don't let all these other things, you know, keep you off track. And I actually had a different video idea. I was supposed to do a video with somebody else and they let me down and all of these things, and I was like, but it is not an excuse to not be consistent. And even though you're not feeling like it, even though, you know, you're feeling a little bit down and you don't really, you know, you're not really in that space, but you said you would be consistent. And it's the point is not perfection, it's progression. And I said to myself, you've made so much progress this year so far, you've done it consistently. How about you just give it a shot, do it one more time? So sometimes that's all you need to do, is just tell yourself, let me just do it one more time. And I hope you will reach your goals and attain those goals. And yeah, I think I've said a mouthful, and let me just stop it right here. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever you choose to do. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, love and light to you all.